Men who do this make women emotionally addicted. Psychology tricks. We are shaped and fashioned by what we love. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Every man knows the sting. The woman who forgot you but remembers him. The nights you offered calm while she chased storms. The way your kindness seemed to fade while another man's quiet presence stayed on her mind. This isn't a referendum on your worth. It's the way human chemistry works. For generations, we were told to pursue, provide, and protect, rarely to understand the subtle currents that stir a woman's attention and keep it. Love feels like emotion, but it behaves like a system, a pattern written in the body, sparked by contrast, sustained by tension, and anchored by presence. Men who linger in memory aren't necessarily wealthier or better looking. They're tuned. They read the moment. They know when stillness is stronger than speech, when absence creates value, when to raise the stakes, and when to lower the temperature. That's not manipulation. It's self-mastery. It's understanding how your emotional signal, your energy, your timing, your ability to hold space shapes desire more than 1,000 lines ever will. In this journey, you'll uncover 5 quiet mechanisms that govern attraction, memory, and devotion. 1. The dopamine loop, how novelty, pacing, and surprise keep attention returning to you. 2. The tension principle, how calibrated uncertainty, never cruelty, heightens focus and feeling. 3. The gravity effect, how grounded presence makes you the safest and most compelling place in the room. 4. The polarity code, how directing your purpose and setting clean boundaries create electric contrast. 5. The scarcity imprint, how being selective with your time and words raises perceived value. Each is a different angle on the same truth. Love isn't handed over, it's evoked. Connection is less what you say and more what she feels in your company. Before you try to win attention, learn to manage your state. When you understand emotion, yours first, you stop chasing approval and start becoming unforgettable. 1. The dopamine loop. Don't confuse romance with routine. Be the spark, not the background noise. That is the first brutal truth. She falls for how you make her feel about herself when she's with you, and the brain's chemistry, dopamine, anticipation, relief, moves faster than any spreadsheet of pros and cons. You must understand that emotion fires before reason, and your presence, your pauses, your playfulness, your steadiness, each becomes a stimulus that tilts her nervous system toward curiosity or away from it. Predictability isn't kindness, it's a sedative. Don't anesthetize attraction with excessive availability. Be consistent in character, not monotonous in behavior. The more obvious your next move, the less oxygen desire gets. Certainty kills craving, but chaos kills trust, so calibrate. This is where well-informed psychology tricks go from gimmick to guidance. Small contrasts, not cruel games, intentional space, not punitive silence, a rhythm of approach and retreat that feels like dancing, not disappearing. In plain terms, female psychology is exquisitely responsive to contrast, calm and excitement, tenderness and tease, presence and purposeful distance, and when you learn that balance, you stop asking how to fall in love. Like it's a 3-step hack and start creating a climate where love can breathe. Don't turn chemistry into manipulation. Be the man who can hold tension without creating fear. That is the difference between attraction and anxiety. You must signal 2 messages at once. I see you clearly, and I'm not fully captured. When she senses both safety and spark, her attention rises. When she senses only safety, it drifts. When she senses only spark, it burns out. The dopamine loop isn't magic. It's math, novelty plus uncertainty, buffered by reliability. Send a text that hints at a plan and leaves room for imagination. Show up on time, and then surprise her with a detail that proves you are paying attention. Don't flood her with words every hour. Give meaning a chance to echo. Be deliberate with pauses, not punitive. That is the ethical line. Pauses create space for longing. Stonewalling creates doubt. You must never weaponize silence. A man who uses absence to punish teaches her body to brace, not to bloom. Instead, let your intervals carry intent. If you're busy, say so and mean it. If you're thinking, say that too. Restraint with clarity is irresistible because it's rare. Here's the paradox most men miss. She bonds to emotion, not to effort. Don't love louder, land deeper. Be the contrast. Laugh with her, and then hold her gaze 1 second longer than usual. Ask a question that risks a real answer. That is how you move from attention to connection without clinging. The so-called unavailable guy often wins not because he's cold, but because he supplies tension. The nice guy often loses not because he's kind, but because he's predictable. You must be both warm and slightly unreadable, both steady and a little wild. Female psychology links emotional tension with perceived value. The brain tags what interrupts the pattern. Become that interruption without becoming a disruption. Don't chase, invite. Be the axis, not the orbit. Regulate the temperature of the moment instead of reacting to it. That is leadership in love. You turn down defensiveness. You turn up curiosity. You hold your center while the scene shifts. You must let her feel the edges of your world, your mission, your hobbies, your standards, your schedule. Desire respects boundaries because boundaries imply worth. Meanwhile, mix micro-novelties into the familiar. A new cafe on a Tuesday, a slow walk after dinner with one surprising question, a weekend plan that includes one element neither of you has tried. These are psychology tricks done right, no deceit, just design, because they nudge the dopamine loop without hijacking it. When you make her feel both anchored and a little windblown, her memory lights up. She'll recall the day, the scent, the sentence you broke in the middle and finished with a smile. That is how to fall in love without a sales pitch. Don't confuse attention with approval. Be the man who can offer silence that feels like a comma, not a cliff. You must return with presence that recalibrates the room, shoulders relaxed, eyes open, voice slow. The body tells truth first. Hold tension without fidgeting. Compliment without flooding. Touch lightly, then withdraw a second early. Let anticipation do its work. In female psychology, predictability of character, honesty, integrity, emotional self-control must be paired with unpredictability of expression, where, when, and how you bring delight. Too much comfort alone becomes static. Too much thrill alone becomes noise. Balance is the voltage. Don't perform perfection. It's sterile. Be precise and playful. That is the formula. Stability in who you are, variety in what you do. You must understand that her nervous system is mapping you, how you handle stress, how you handle no, how you handle your own desire. Show composure when plans shift. Show humor when the waiter spills the water. Show restraint when the moment could tilt too far. Each micro-moment teaches her body whether you're a refuge or a risk, or the rarest combination, the refuge with a spark. The longer you sustain that contrast, the more the dopamine loop imprints your presence as meaningful. This is not a trick to make anyone emotionally addicted. It's the discipline to create emotionally nutritious intensity. Still, the phrase psychology tricks will float around, and you'll be tempted to press harder. Don't. Be ethical. That is non-negotiable. You must never gaslight, breadcrumb, or dangle affection. If your goal is control, you've already lost the plot. If your goal is depth, you'll win slowly and for real. So, how to fall in love and make it last? Don't beg, broadcast, or binge. Be intentional. That is the advanced lesson. Design the experience. Don't dramatize it. You must pair mystery with meaning. Say less, do more. Plan dates with texture. 1 part movement, 1 part conversation, 1 part stillness. Ask better questions. What felt meaningful this week? Where do you feel most yourself? Listen like you're memorizing. Then leave a little unsaid. Let the echo work for you. Female psychology is rhythm sensitive. Cadence matters. Follow through precisely when she expects you might flake. Pull back slightly when she expects you to crowd. Not to toy with her. To respect the pace at which intimacy becomes devotion. When you understand the dopamine loop, you stop dumping attention and start crafting experience. You'll notice her leaning in, not because you disappear, but because you appear with gravity. And yes, people will call these psychology tricks, but at their best, they are character in action, integrity with a pulse. That is the secret behind the curtain. You must become a man whose presence is a pattern interrupt and whose values are a safe place to land. Don't apologize for having edges. Be kind. Be clear. Be captivating. In the end, she doesn't fall for your constant availability. She falls for the emotional voltage you calibrate with care, predictable in principle, unpredictable in expression. That is the dopamine loop done right, the humane version of how to fall in love, and the reason she keeps remembering you long after the moment ends. 2. The tension principle. Women don't fall for men. They fall for states of emotion that men create. You're not the drug. You're the dealer. And the more unpredictable the supply, the stronger the craving becomes. When she's not sure whether you'll text back, her heart begins to race. Her mind spins stories, her dopamine spikes. Then, ding, your message arrives, and that sweet chemical rush floods her system. It's relief. It's reward. It's biology disguised as romance. That cycle, the rise, the drop, the sudden reward, is the same one that lights up a gambler's brain when a slot machine flashes. It's called reward prediction error. The less predictable the reward, the stronger the emotional hit. That's not poetry. That's neuroscience. So, no, she doesn't remember the nice dinner, the gifts, or your long talks about feelings. What she remembers is the emotional voltage, the spark, the fluctuation, the storm you made her feel alive within. Because in the end, emotion beats logic every single time. You think she wants peace, but once she has it, her brain goes silent. Dopamine doesn't react to safety. It reacts to uncertainty. And certainty, my friend, is emotional death. That's why she leaves the calm, steady man for the one who stirs chaos. That's why she keeps falling for the same type of man she swore off. That's why she whispers, I don't know why I can't stop thinking about him. It's not about him. It's about her chemical dependency on the sensations he triggers. You can't fight biology, but you can learn to use it consciously. That's what separates an average man from a high-value man, one who understands how to create emotional movement without losing control. When a woman feels that cycle, tension, then release, her brain begins to associate you with that feeling. Even your silence becomes a signal. She replays your last message, overanalyzes your tone, checks her phone again and again. Not because she's obsessed with logic, but because her nervous system is craving the next hit of dopamine. You've become her uncertainty. And uncertainty is addictive. But here's the dark irony. The men who try the hardest to be good, to give her peace and predictability, often destroy the attraction without realizing it. When they leave, she doesn't just feel sad, she experiences withdrawal. Her dopamine levels crash, leaving a hollow ache in her chest. And the brain hates emptiness. It tries to fill it by obsessing over the last source of the high, you. She doesn't miss your body. She misses the imbalance you created, those emotional highs and lows that made her feel something. That's not love. That's neurochemistry dressed up as passion. Every time you disappear, her body remembers the thrill of your return. Each reunion deepens the neural pathway that links you with relief. That's how you become her variable reward system, the slot machine her emotions can't stop pulling. But beware, dopamine doesn't bond. It hooks. It creates obsession, not loyalty. If all you give her is stimulation, she'll chase that high until someone else gives it stronger. Because the addiction isn't you. It's the fluctuation, the tension, the unpredictability, the emotional roller coaster you represent. To make her stay, you need more than stimulation. You need gravity, that quiet masculine energy that anchors her storms. A high-value man doesn't just excite her. He studies her. He creates both tension and release, uncertainty and safety in perfect balance. But before you can anchor her, you must learn to generate the storm. Most men fail because they live at one extreme. They either create chaos with no control or control with no chaos. One burns her out. The other bores her to death. The balance between tension and calm, between unpredictability and stability, is what turns simple attraction into emotional imprinting. It's not manipulation. It's emotional intelligence meeting dark psychology, the art of understanding her biology without abusing it. You're not playing games. You're mastering your signal. Because women don't bond to words, they bond to frequency. Every tone, every pause, every glance carries energy. That's what draws her in, what makes her body remember you even when her mind tries to move on. When you stay calm while she feels chaos, you become the fixed point in her storm. Her emotions orbit around your composure. That's the essence of masculine energy, control, confidence, calm amid emotional noise. And once that imprint forms, logic can't undo it. Even if she leaves, her mind replays your rhythm, the highs, the unpredictability, the relief. That's why she still dreams of you months later. Even when she's with another man, her body remembers the loop. Because biology doesn't break easily. So stop chasing her attention. Attention is cheap currency. Control is priceless. Don't seek her validation, evoke her emotion. Don't give her safety too soon. Let her earn your certainty. That's the essence of the tension principle, the power to attract women by mastering emotion, not chasing affection. To be both storm and shelter. To be the mystery she can't solve and the calm she can't find elsewhere. Be unpredictable, but intentional. Be confident, but never careless. Be the man who understands that love without tension dies quietly, but tension without love burns too fast. The sweet spot lies between them. That's where attraction becomes addiction. That's where she doesn't just want you, she needs you. And that, my friend, is what a high-value man understands. 3. The gravity effect. A man with true gravity doesn't chase. He anchors. He doesn't pull her into his orbit. He becomes the center of it. Every woman, consciously or not, measures the weight of a man's presence. She doesn't test you to destroy you. She tests to feel you, to see if there's substance behind the surface, if the man standing before her is solid or hollow. She pushes, questions, withdraws, searching for the point where your composure breaks. Because only when she finds that it doesn't can she finally rest. That's gravity. And gravity isn't charm. It isn't bravado or dominance. It's the quiet certainty of a man whose sense of self no longer trembles with the winds of emotion. It's the field of calm that surrounds one who has conquered the noise within. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is old Stoic wisdom. That is Stoicism win. Where most men defend, justify, or explain, the man with gravity simply stands, unmoved, undisturbed, silent, but not empty. You can't fake this. It's not posture or performance, it's presence. Gravity is not about acting calm, it's about being calm. It's what happens when a man draws validation from within instead of begging for it from the world. His stillness is not weakness, it's structure. His calm is not indifference, it's leadership. He doesn't argue for respect, his energy demands it. He doesn't fight to be understood, his silence speaks it. That's iron mind. That's Stoicism win. Understand this truth. What moves easily has no weight. A woman instinctively measures that weight every time she challenges you. When she criticizes, withdraws, or stirs chaos, she's not rebelling, she's searching. She's asking, can I trust your center when mine is falling apart? Every test is a tremor to measure your foundation. And if you shake, if you waver, justify, panic, she feels unsafe. Her body records it. This man cannot contain me. But when you remain calm, unprovoked, sovereign, something in her changes. Her anxiety melts into safety. Her emotions begin to orbit around you. She feels anchored, not because you control her, but because you control yourself. That's the secret the modern man forgets. In a world of noise, distraction, and digital weakness, stillness is rebellion. Gravity is strength. Women are drawn not to motion but to mastery because true power is quiet. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. You must remember this. You don't win her through performance. You win her through presence. You don't chase. You command. You don't explain. You embody. That is old Stoic wisdom in motion, the essence of iron mind. When she storms with emotion, don't mirror her chaos. Don't try to soothe her through panic or apologies. Sit in the storm. Breathe through it. Because the moment you hold your ground, you stop being another man and become her axis. She can cry, argue, walk away, but if you remain composed, her nervous system recognizes this man cannot be moved. And paradoxically, that immovability moves her most. Her feminine energy longs for something it cannot shake. When she finally meets it, she surrenders, not in weakness, but in relief. That's the natural design. The chaotic seeks the stable, the storm seeks the mountain. Don't misunderstand this. Your stillness isn't coldness, it's structure. Your silence isn't neglect, it's strength. You're not there to smother her emotions, but to contain them. That's masculine mastery, containment without control, presence without pressure. Your task is not to calm her words, but to calm your own world. Because when your internal gravity deepens, everything around you settles. Your woman, your work, your life. As Seneca once taught, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. That is Stoic law. That is iron mind. In today's world, men crumble under emotional pressure because they've been taught to react. Don't. Reacting is weakness disguised as care. Responding from calm is power disguised as compassion. Every time you stay centered under pressure, you reinforce your dominance over self. You train your mind to hold steady no matter who or what tries to pull you off course. This is not arrogance, it's mastery. And mastery commands attraction far deeper than looks or words ever could. The man with gravity doesn't win by effort. He wins by energy. His stillness speaks louder than shouting ever could. His presence tells the room, I am here. I am unmoved. She may never say it aloud, but her body feels it. Her breath changes in your calm. Her chaos seeks your rhythm. She cannot explain why she feels safer near you. It's instinctual, biological, ancient. Her nervous system recognizes your stability as desire, your composure as command. You don't chase attention, you command it. You don't perform for approval, you embody worth. Every glance, every pause, every step carries the quiet confidence of a man who has mastered the art of being. That's old Stoic wisdom. That's Stoicism win. But remember, gravity without warmth becomes isolation. Stillness without fire becomes emptiness. To truly captivate, you must balance gravity with electricity, calm with spark, order with passion. A man who is both unshakable and alive becomes magnetic. Because gravity anchors her, but fire makes her feel alive. One without the other is half the equation. The real man, the one with iron mind and burning soul, masters both. He's not the storm. He's the calm inside it. He's not ice. He's steel, cold when needed, blazing when called. That's how men once lived. That's how men must rise again. So don't flinch. Don't apologize for your strength. Don't dilute your edge to fit into comfort. The world respects men who can stand tall when everything else collapses. Become that man. Train your mind daily. Build your stillness like armor. Let your presence speak when words fail. Because in the end, the man who can hold himself, truly hold himself, can hold anything. That's gravity. That's mastery. That's old Stoic wisdom. And that's how Stoicism wins. If you found this valuable, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more powerful insights into masculine psychology. Comment below to anchor this truth in your mind. I am calm, grounded, and unshakable. 4. The polarity code. She can't fall in love with a man she doesn't feel polarity with. That's not just attraction, it's chemistry coded in female psychology. Every relationship rises or collapses on that invisible force. Not compatibility, not kindness. Polarity. The spark between two opposite energies, masculine and feminine, structure and flow, direction and movement. When polarity fades, connection dies a slow, polite death. The laughter dulls. The eyes wander. The fire turns to comfort and then to quiet resentment. Because a woman doesn't surrender to logic. She surrenders to energy. It's the unspoken psychology trick behind every love story that lasts. The magnetic tension that keeps two souls orbiting each other instead of drifting apart. Polarity is what makes her body soften when you walk in the room. It's what stills her overthinking when your voice carries calm authority. It's not words, It's the current beneath them. It's her silent recognition. He leads. I can let go. But here's the tragedy of the modern man. He's been taught to dim his polarity in the name of being nice, to be endlessly agreeable, soft-spoken, accommodating. What starts as empathy ends as erosion. Because when you bury your masculine direction to make her comfortable, you remove the structure that lets her feel safe. Don't confuse making her happy with making her trust you. She doesn't want your control. She wants your containment. She doesn't crave dominance. She craves direction. She doesn't obey because you demand it. She relaxes because she senses she can. That's the essence of female psychology. Masculine polarity isn't aggression. It's presence sharpened by purpose. It's not about being loud. It's about being anchored. It's the stillness in your eyes that says, I know where I'm going. You're safe to feel whatever you feel. That's the unspoken language of leadership, and when you speak it fluently, she mirrors you unconsciously. Her breath slows. Her tone softens. Her resistance melts. Not because she's weak, but because her feminine essence can finally exhale. She doesn't surrender to you. She surrenders through you. Through your grounded energy, your certainty, your quiet command that says, I'm not here to argue. I'm here to lead. And that leadership? It's not about control, it's calibration. You don't suppress her chaos, you give it rhythm. You don't shrink her emotions, you give them space to dance. That's not manipulation, that's mastery. That's how to fall in love, not through tricks or games, but through depth and direction. The reason so many good men fail in relationships isn't because they're unkind. It's because they've gone energetically neutral. Too masculine and they turn tyrant. Too feminine and they turn invisible. When a man loses his polarity, he becomes forgettable. He mistakes validation for connection. He trades purpose for peace and ends up with neither. Don't be that man. Be the one who holds his direction no matter what storm she brings. Because when you embody direction, she feels safe enough to surrender. When you move with purpose, she moves with trust. Her laughter returns, her eyes light up, her guard drops, because finally, she doesn't have to perform. She can feel. This is why the same woman who rolls her eyes at one man will melt for another. She's not reacting to dominance, she's responding to depth. When your authority comes from insecurity, she resists. When it comes from presence, she relaxes. The feminine always yields to the masculine rooted in truth, because truth, to her nervous system, feels like freedom. And here's the paradox. You don't create polarity by chasing her. You create it by embodying direction. That's one of the oldest psychology tricks in existence, the secret language of attraction written into human nature. When you stand firm in your purpose, her emotions find home in your stability. When you know what you want and move toward it without needing approval, she feels the magnetic pull of certainty. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. And alignment is irresistible. She doesn't melt for compliments. She melts for command delivered without ego. She doesn't crave comfort. She craves tension held with love. She doesn't want to feel small. She wants to feel safe enough to let her guard down. That's the sacred balance of masculine and feminine, chaos and order, water and stone, emotion and direction. When that current flows, love stops being logical. It becomes alchemy. Every word, every silence, every glance becomes charged. Her softness doesn't make her weak. Your stillness doesn't make you cold. Together, they create voltage, the living electricity that keeps desire alive long after novelty fades. Don't chase connection. Generate it. Through your composure, your decisiveness, your unspoken leadership. You don't have to say, follow me. You move first, and instinct does the rest. Because in a world of chaos, the man who radiates direction becomes the calm in her storm. His energy says, you can let go now. And every part of her whispers, finally. That's not manipulation. That's mastery, the purest form of how to fall in love. But remember, polarity isn't enough without contrast. Even the brightest flame needs the dark to be seen. That's the next truth, the scarcity imprint. 5. The scarcity imprint. She doesn't miss you because you're gone. She misses you because no one else feels like you. That's the real secret men overlook. Attraction begins with chemistry. Attachment begins with tension. But addiction, real emotional addiction, begins with scarcity. And scarcity, my friend, is not about absence. It's about uniqueness. It's the subconscious realization that what she felt with you cannot be recreated anywhere else. It's not about how much you gave her. It's about how precisely you calibrated what you withheld. Every man can touch a woman's body, but few can touch her nervous system. That's the difference between a regular man and a high-value man. When you master the dance between closeness and distance, when you can hold her with full presence and then vanish without apology, you create contrast. That contrast becomes her emotional signature, the specific feeling her mind can't reproduce with anyone else. Your silence feels heavier than another man's affection. Your stillness steadies her chaos. Your withdrawal makes her body ache in recognition. Scarcity is the rarest currency in the modern world. Everything is available. Everyone is reachable. Attention is cheap, but presence, true grounded masculine energy, is nearly extinct. When you embody it, even for a few moments, you become unforgettable. She may find men who are more attractive, more talkative, more available, but none who feel like you. That's how the imprint forms. Her brain marks you as a pattern, a rhythm of emotional highs and lows no one else can mimic. The dopamine from uncertainty, the oxytocin from closeness, the cortisol from distance, all of it ties back to your specific presence. She isn't addicted to you. She's addicted to the emotional contrast only you delivered. And that contrast becomes her private religion. She may reject it consciously, but her body still prays to it. When you disappear, she doesn't just feel lonely, she feels withdrawal. Her entire system starts searching for that same blend of safety and danger and finds nothing. The new man is too eager, too transparent, too safe. He gives her comfort, but no pulse. You gave her polarity, that rhythm between security and uncertainty that carved a groove in her psyche. That's why she stalks your social media but never reaches out, why she swears she's over you but still checks if you've moved on. You understand her programming. You know the rarer your emotional frequency, the more her system clings to it. Scarcity isn't about pretending to be busy or cold. It's about being rare in essence. Every man can vanish, but few can vanish without resentment. Every man can stay calm, but few can remain calm and magnetic. When your distance feels intentional, not defensive, when your absence feels purposeful, not passive, you become a gravitational field she can't escape. You teach her that your energy can't be summoned. It must be earned. That's what separates the high-value man from the crowd. Power isn't in control. It's in awareness. When you understand scarcity, you stop chasing significance. You become it. You stop demanding loyalty because your energy creates it. You stop proving your worth because your rarity confirms it. The most unforgettable men are paradoxes, present yet distant, open yet ungraspable. They offer emotional safety, but never emotional certainty. That paradox burns into the feminine psyche like a code she can't decode. She doesn't chase you for love, she chases you for meaning. Because your mystery becomes her mirror. Through you, she meets parts of herself she didn't know existed. She can date, laugh, even fall for someone else, but she won't unfeel you, because you didn't just touch her heart, you rewired her chemistry. You didn't just give her emotion, you gave her an experience that became the benchmark. Every man after you competes with your absence. That is the essence of dark psychology, when attachment transcends logic, when your name isn't just remembered but felt, when your silence becomes the loudest sound in her body. True power never lies in control, it lies in awareness. Once you master scarcity, you no longer chase validation. You embody it. You no longer try to attract women. They feel drawn to you without understanding why. Your restraint becomes the source of their obsession. Your composure becomes the test they can't pass. You thought she left because you weren't enough, not handsome enough, rich enough, charming enough. Wrong. It was never about that. You weren't lacking. You were uncalibrated. You gave without voltage, loved without gravity, desired without direction. She didn't want your affection. She wanted to feel herself through your gravity. Every woman searches, consciously or not, for the man whose stillness magnifies her movement, whose silence gives rhythm to her emotion. Because in that polarity, where your masculine steadiness meets her feminine storm, she finally feels whole. That's not love. That's psychological resonance. It's the sacred balance between masculine presence and feminine emotion. Your steadiness creates her surrender. Her surrender amplifies your strength. Together, you form a feedback loop that feels divine. So understand this. She doesn't crave perfection. She craves polarity. She doesn't chase affection. She chases gravity. Once she's tasted that equilibrium, no thrill can replace it. No touch, no smile, no new body can replicate the feeling of her chaos meeting your calm. Because what she's addicted to isn't you, it's the part of herself your presence awakened. Your silence gave her reflection. Your restraint gave her freedom. Your distance gave her meaning. Every emotional test she gave you was never punishment, it was a plea. Every argument was her unconscious way of saying, "Show me that your center won't collapse when mine does." When you stop reacting, when you understand emotion without drowning in it, you shape it. You realize love isn't a reward, it's polarity sustained through awareness. A woman doesn't choose the man who gives her everything. She chooses the one whose energy she can't explain, because that energy makes her feel alive. That's what it means to be a high-value man. That's how you truly attract women, not by effort, but by essence. Power isn't being louder or colder, it's being unmoved inside while the world trembles. Let her chaos crash against your silence until she realizes you're not the storm. You're the shore. You were never powerless. You were always the calibration she was searching for. And once you understand that, you'll never be forgotten again. And that's it, my friend. You've just seen how real attraction doesn't come from control or strategy, it comes from awareness. From understanding the silent rules that shape desire, chemistry, tension, gravity, polarity, and scarcity. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Stop trying to get love and start learning how to give it from a place of self-respect, not self-doubt. Because when your emotions are steady, your energy becomes magnetic. When you understand yourself deeply, you stop chasing validation and people start chasing your presence. Here's my honest advice. Don't try to make her addicted to you. Make her feel safe around you. Safety is what builds true emotional connection. Don't fake confidence, build it. Confidence that's real doesn't shout, it radiates. Don't mirror what women want, discover what you stand for. A man with clear values is 10 times more attractive than a man who plays roles. And never confuse attention with affection. One feeds your ego, the other feeds your soul. Remember, the moment you choose awareness over reaction, you become a man who leads with calm power, the kind that doesn't fade when things get tough. So take these truths, live them, and watch how your relationships and your life begin to transform. If this message hit something inside you, drop a comment, tell me what resonated most, and share this video with the brother who needs to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, not for me, but for the version of you that refuses to stay the same. Stay grounded, stay magnetic, and I'll see you in the next one.